The reason your daughter looks like you is your skull.
Welcome to Disrupted Science, the occasional conversation between the authors of the upcoming book, How the Internet Disrupted Science, now available for pre-order. I'm Joy Moore here with my co-author Ken Anderson, and today is Wednesday, January 28th, 2026. Hey, Kent, how's it
Hey,
going?
Joy. It's going. It's going. We're busy in the throes of galleys and indexing, right, with the book.
Yeah, perfect for snow days.
Exactly.
How much snow did you get?
I think we're up to 18 and a half inches, maybe.
Holy moly.
Yeah, and
How cold is it?
Boston set a record. The city got into its top 10 all time with 23 inches of snow because they had a little bit of a oceanfront back-in system
Uh-huh.
enhancement. So we didn't actually hit the jackpot usually the western suburbs hit the jackpot because it's coming out of the mountains, but not this time. It is cold. How about you? It's like 12 degrees here. So
Yeah, it's unseasonably cold after a sloppy, lame snow that turned into a sheet of ice that
mm,
then froze at, sub 20 degrees. And
oh,
so there's nothing
nobody
for the
likes ice, Joy. Nobody likes
nobody like
ice.
it's not good, especially in a place where they don't sell ice melt because
Yeah.
they don't normally need it. Down here they just wait. You just
Yeah.
wait. Yeah.
Just wait a couple of days. It's like Denver. It's like Denver where it would snow and then the next day be 50 degrees. It's like, yeah, well, whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah,
But
but it
yeah,
is.
kind of a crazy week. There's a lot. I just wish again. I wish there were time to like focus on things, but we've got so many people making so many crazy assertions, and I'll be covering the OSTP just came out with their big cheerleading report about all their accomplishments in 2025, including resurgence of measles, which they didn't really celebrate, but that's what they did. So yeah, it's just the disconnect which we're seeing in so many places between what the propaganda
Well,
and
well, that's what I
the
was gonna
and
say. That
reality.
I, you sent me the link, but I haven't read it yet. But the fact that an OSTP report had anything to do with children and
Right.
measles doesn't make any historical sense. So there's a propaganda machine coming out of that, you
Well,
know.
they're ignoring public health. I mean, they're talking about AI and rocket ships and nuclear power plants and you know and ignoring everything that's going on in actual science. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
Well,
you know,
I'm
and
gonna.
I mean we're seeing it everywhere. And I think one of the one of the things, the duties of science is to close the gap between what we think and what we know. And so when people are actively trying to open that wider and
Mhm.
say you should think this, even though you know that, that's alarming. But it looks like I'm happy to see the AMA, the AAP, a whole bunch of organizations banding together to get vaccines back on course.
Mhm.
So kudos to all of them again. And
Yeah.
Stand Up for Science and Defend Public Health are doing great work. And
Yeah, and at this point, there aren't that many serious people who are taking anything that comes out of the government seriously. So we
yeah,
don't really need to worry too much about that.
true, true.
It could sway public perception, but it's not as if it's gonna make a ounce of difference to the people who know what they're doing,
Yeah,
in
and
terms of
control.
in controlling science and treating patients and things like that. So,
Yeah, yeah. Let's hope so.
I mean,
But anyhow,
these,
crazy days.
yeah, and these reports don't help. They just make it harder for the people who are trying to do the right thing. But
Yeah. So speaking of someone who's trying to do the right thing, we have an interview today with somebody who I didn't even I've known PJ for a long time, and I didn't know that. I knew she was an artist, but I didn't know she'd gone down this path. And so when I started to see posts about her helping identify cold case crime victims and missing persons and things like that, I perked up, and turns out that there is a job called a forensic artist. And so we decided, well, that's kind of the perfect blend of science and art. So we wanted to talk with her, and voila, she agreed.
Yeah, she was so generous with her time to talk to us. And of course, I'm a, big crime TV show buff, and to meet one in real life who's actually really helping people. And it's not just a boop, boop, boop. They figured it out by the end of the day kind of thing.
Right,
It
right. It's
takes,
actually doing it, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So let's dive into our interview with PJ Puterbaugh, and we'll go from there.
All right.
PJ Puterbaugh's skills exist at the intersection of art and science. Working as a painter and portraitist, years ago she found herself utilizing her abilities to help people by becoming a forensic artist. This meant certifying with the International Association for Identification and becoming a certified forensic analyst. PJ works by assisting various law enforcement agencies with John and Jane Doe images and skull-to-face reconstructions. The same methods can also apply to museum and historical projects. Her work for medical examiners and cold case investigators bridges forensic science, creative visualization, and multimedia storytelling to bring human faces to life with accuracy and impact. She has helped law enforcement identify various victims and close years-old cold cases. We're thrilled to talk with somebody today who represents a perfect blend of art and science. Welcome, PJ.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
Welcome. It's great to meet you.
Yeah, you too.
So how did you get started as an artist, and B, as a forensic artist? What's your backstory?
Well, it's a typical thing. I started drawing as a kid, and I started going to college for art, and it was just too strict. I really wanted to do kind of more Renaissance realistic painting, and they were wanting to turn coffee cups into plants, and it just wasn't me. So I got married, had kids, and then went back to school. I went to an atelier here in Encinitas that I walked in, and the owner was painting this painting, and I was like, oh my God, I'm home. And I took lots of classes from them, lots of portraits, all sorts of things. And then I ended up volunteering for the search and rescue department for the sheriff's department here with my dog.
Mm-hmm.
And through them, we did a training, and we met the medical examiner, and I found that they didn't have an artist to do any of these John or Jane Doe cases at all. And they put feelers out to local colleges, but nothing. And I said, you mean you just need someone to draw faces? And she goes, yeah, and what, I can do it. So
Yep.
She gave me the Bible of the teacher that has just created this amazing book that we all use here in the United States. There are a lot of others too, but she was my teacher. And then I also learned from her teacher, Betty Pat Gatliff. And I went to Texas and Arizona and Oklahoma and took classes and just started doing cases. And it's been great. It's been a very interesting, probably 15 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it started with your dog.
Yeah, she was my black swan. Really. If it hadn't been for her, we worked for about 2 years, and then she went lame, and then it was just full bore into the artwork.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but she was a scent dog, right, for cadavers and
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, search and rescue. Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, amazing.
And how did you learn about, how did you learn about the anatomy part of reconstructing faces, kind of from the inside out?
Right. Yeah. So that was really neat because I hadn't done sculpture before. So part of the classes I took were the study of the skull, and the studies that have been done before that on tissue depth markers that you place on the skull at specific points. And they're going to be a different size of tissue depth marker according to what racial profile you would, as profile might not be the right word, but racial background you have. And so you learn about the anatomy of the skull, you learn about where to put those markers, and then you start building the clay. And that's if I get a skull to work on. A lot of them are not that much work. They're just more of someone who passed away and didn't have identification, and no one's reporting them missing.
And so that's kind of the physiological part of it. How do you figure out who that person might have been for the more superficial parts of their face that you put together in terms of?
Well, the anthropologist is going to give me a report as far as their racial background. And it's tricky because sometimes, you have someone who is half black, half white, or half Asian, or might have certain characteristics that lend toward one profile over another. There's a lot of things you don't know about a skull. I don't really know what the eyebrows look like. I don't know what your ears look like. I pretty much know your lips, your mouth, as far as how far they cover the teeth. I'll know the proportions of your face, and that's what's recognizable to people is the proportions. It's kind of like I tell people, you're in the mall and you see someone down here and she looks just like your cousin Mary, and you start to walk toward her and say hi, and then she turns and you go like, well, that's not Mary, but that sure does look like her. And that's what I'm looking for is a resemblance. The proportions are key. The reason your daughter looks like you is your skull. And that is, and then other children, like I have a granddaughter who looks like my aunt. So that DNA came through in there, and just her face and everything. And then one granddaughter looks like her mother and one looks like her father. So it's the skull. And then, so that is what people recognize. And when it comes through, even though I will do some AI versions of a sculpture as far as different hair, maybe a different culture, did you hang out in a town? Were you a country person, or just different clothing or something? It's the original sculpture that you go back to that and you go, yeah, I can see it. He wore a hat and he had a jacket on and stuff, but it's the skull and the sculpture. So, really cool.
And you have to do some aging aspects too sometimes, right? Because some of these cases are old. And so you have to take a photo and basically draw how the person would look if they had aged normally. And maybe that's the version of the person that is recognizable, right? Right.
And then you have things like, do they still have teeth? Get teeth. Did they lose the teeth before they died or after? So I've had an edentulous person has absolutely no teeth. And so you're going to put that together a little differently than you would that someone's going to have more room here. And then, like you said, if it's an older case, they're going to wear different clothing. They'll have different hairstyles. So those things kind of factor in. And I like to, even though only one picture might go up in the NamUs website, as far as this is a resemblance image of a person that we have no name for, I like to give them a variety, because sometimes the spread of years they give me, they could say, oh, he's 30 to 60.
Oh, wow.
I will give them different versions. This is 30, this is 40, not exact, but something, this is more age, this is 60. Maybe doesn't have as much, he has more hair when he's younger and less hair when he's older. And I'll do all those, and I'll just hand them all to the investigator and say, these are for you to use, whatever you want to do with them. So I like to give versions of people too.
Yeah, we all have different phases of life. Yeah,
exactly.
There's a phrase that you, and I was reading about some of your background in Arkansas and other places, and there was a phrase that I loved, being useful and ornamental.
Oh, it was from my stepmother. It's actually, it's good to be useful as well as ornamental.
Okay.
And I,
Okay.
yeah. And I think that came back from, she was born in 1922. And, back there you're supposed to be pretty, but can you fix the plumbing?
Yeah.
Can you plow the field? Do you need to have, always have your husband come home to do the work? No, how
Right.
to do stuff too. And that's how I always took that. And I just thought it was a cute thing she said.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Be of use, but also be, decorative.
You're still a lady.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but you've gone back and forth. You've gone back to Arkansas a few times to help out there, haven't you?
Yeah, I went back to visit my brother. He's in Little Rock.
Okay.
And so I had just called up the crime lab there and I said, if you don't have anybody, I'm happy to work on some cases for you.
Mm.
So they have sent me skulls, and they have also, I've been there where I've taken photographs of skulls with markers on, and then I come home and work on them. Yeah, so I just thought it would be good to have kind of a hometown project. And I've done an aging case back there where a gentleman had just never found his mother after 60. And, so I age progressed her photo that he had, and he actually ended up putting up a billboard. It just wasn't going where. She's still not found that I know of.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of crazy.
So how many open cases do you have, or closed versus open? Or
Right.
it's
I did a count on them the other day, and I was just like, wow. So I probably have, and when I am privileged to be asked to work on a case, I know that I am a team member, right?
yeah,
And
because people are really caring if they're
right,
going to engage you.
right. Well, the thing is that you don't know. Well, you do if your case is solved by DNA or if it's actually a hit, what they call a hit, because they recognize the photo. So in that context of how many cases were successful, I probably had 30 out of 90.
Mm-hmm.
But not all of them. It was more in conjunction of, this looks like someone, let's check the DNA, or let's go back and look at this. So
Yeah,
I'm just happy to be invited to the party.
yeah, and to be a piece of the puzzle, because you never know what's going to solve it.
Yeah, and some of them are quite direct. In the news today, there was a woman's husband arrested for her murder, and it was a sketch I did in November. She was recognized from the sketch because she had no ID on her. And the sketch doesn't look exactly like her, but those are, depending on what shape you get someone in, you're doing the best you can.
Mm-hmm.
So I was wondering about that case this morning, and it came out on the radio that they had arrested her husband. So
Oh, wow.
that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's it like was there any squeamishness about handling skulls or visiting coroner's offices or anything like that in the early days of you doing this?
It's a little odd, one of the things they had told us in our training for search and rescue is that you might be out looking at things and you don't realize that is not a stick, it's a finger bone.
Mm-hmm.
Or you might run across someone who's been out there for a long time. And this is what they're going to kind of look like. So be aware, put your hand up, call the radio, say, I've got something over here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, being in they're a tough crew that work at medical examiners. I just admire them an awful lot. It's part of it is I think I grew up on a farm, so I'm a little not as squeamish as folks. But anything that they send me and stuff is already in good shape, and so it's not anything. I'm not looking at a live case kind of.
Right. It's been cleaned up and everything. Yeah.
Do you watch the crime TV shows?
I do some of them. I love Silent Witness. It's put out of England. That's
I don't know that one.
Oh, you'll love it.
Oh, okay, good.
Is it on Brit? If it's on BritBox, she's going to be all over it.
I got it.
Yeah.
We need a new one starting tonight with my mom. Great.
And start about season 10 because the older ones are just filmed a little older. Everything.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's a great show.
Yeah, because when I first read about what you did, I had to think of Bones and the character Angela, who was the reconstructive artist. Did you think that her character or that the writers did a good job about
I
what
haven't,
you
I've
did?
seen like one of those.
Yeah.
I tend to
It's
watch
it's
a lot
it's
of, yeah,
it's pretty old.
yeah,
But they were doing like 3D imaging kind of stuff from skulls before that
and
was actually a real thing. So I don't know
yes,
how well
yeah.
it's held up.
And not only that, but you go to commercial and 5 minutes later, she has her skull done, and on
Right,
the,
Oh
right.
yeah, with the hairdo that
yeah, and
matches the mugshot.
sorry,
Yeah.
doesn't have that. Yeah, yeah. Doesn't take
So
forever, but
speaking of that, so how long? So you place the markers on the. You get a, let's say I just want to go through the process in a little bit more granular detail. So you get a skull, right?
uh-huh.
And you put the markers on in the appropriate places, and then you start applying clay. How long does it take you to get to a point where you think you have gotten close to a resemblance? Would you say?
Um, well, a lot of it depends on how can I work back to back and not be broken up by a variety of things. But I'd say I
Right,
usually give it about 2 days because I like to have a chance to step back and look at it,
right.
recheck my numbers, recheck the anthropology report, look for things. But they start to look at you. You start
Hmm.
to have a feeling of a presence there, like this
Right.
starting, this is coming across. And then it's just a matter of the hairstyle and finishing off, the neck and shoulders and stuff, which neck and shoulders is what I use the most AI for.
Mhm.
Okay.
It's great. Yeah. I mean, you can spend another 2 hours on that and go find a shirt, or you can just say, put a neck and shoulders on that in a t-shirt and
Yeah.
it's done. So I'm not crazy about AI in a lot of ways, but as far as how much it can help me as another crayon in my toolbox, it
Mhm.
helps me in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great though, because that I think that's what it was, in its best form. It is a crayon in a toolbox that you can, you know, color and erase and do again.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very helpful. I mean, frankly, they may pictures that you get post-mortem are not high school photos. They are
No.
No.
taken from the side, they are taken from an angle, and then
Hmm.
you're supposed to turn this person up and make them looking at you. And I'm
Hmm.
Hmm.
finding AI very useful for that.
Hmm.
Of course, it's all about the prompts. It's all about how I tell it, no, that's not the way I wanted it. This is the way I
Hmm.
have to be specific. And sometimes it doesn't work. And I end up and I've used Photoshop, of course, too. But
Yeah.
yeah, you have to teach it what you want and you have to tell it what you don't want.
Mm.
But that's been really helpful.
That's really
And
fascinating to think of, like bringing that. I can almost sense that the most thrilling moment of this, maybe it's also probably very satisfying when you are part of an identification and a resolution of a case, but also just that like manifesting someone out of, you know, pieces of their skull and photos and all, and then they're looking at you, when they're
Yeah.
they're like looking back. I mean, that must be a thrill almost every time.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. And, then you're just like, okay, we got to find out who you are.
Right.
Mhm.
And then one of the things about the skulls too is they don't always come in one piece or two pieces.
Mm.
Sometimes I get little bags of pieces of bones, and then you have to piece it together. Um, if the main parts are there, hopefully the eyes, the eyebrows, and right in here on the skull. If I
Right.
can get the nasal spine in here, that's amazing because then I can take
Mhm.
how the nose projects. Um, Mandibles are really you never know if you're going to get one or not. Um, or if you have half the face gone, you can often just copy the other side over and rebuild it in clay.
Hmm.
Mhm.
So it's very interesting. It's just like you said, the science part of art that I never expected to ever be doing. And
Yeah.
it's fascinating.
Yeah, do you I worked on a few of a few medical illustration atlases
Mhm.
and people who do medical illustration, kind of the fine detail of the
Right.
anatomy
Mhm.
and different layers. And do you use a lot of those resources, or is that part of what you do, or
Yeah,
is
not
that
too
more referential
Yeah,
potentially?
that's more referential because I'm just working on the outside part and I
Uh-huh.
know how it connects. and all that's the main part that I need to know. The way that all this got started was that one lady that I took classes from, Betty Pat Gatliff, she's now passed. Her boss worked for the FAA, and she was a medical illustrator. That's why I bring this up. And he had heard about this method, and he said, I have a John Doe from nearby in Oklahoma, and I would like you to try this method. And she thought, like, okay, yeah, sure. Well, eventually he said, no, I want you to do it. And it was recognized. And from there on, she started doing cases. And I think she probably did over 400 at least. And then she taught Karen Taylor, whose book this is. Right here.
Yeah, if you're on video, you can see that.
Yeah, it is the Bible. It has all the reports and the tissue depth markers and the history and cases and murders and all these different things it's just a fascinating book. It's a great resource.
We will put a link. We will put a link in the show notes.
Oh no, she will appreciate it. Yeah. It is one of the main texts of what we do.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. There's also some cool stuff out there called Parabon, where they will take from DNA from a skull or a deceased person, and they're able to, I'm going to go backwards on this. If it's they don't know who did a murder, they have, somehow they've acquired DNA from the person that might have done it. They can actually figure out whether you're going to be fair-skinned, fair-haired, more likely to have lighter eyes or darker hair. And it actually helped them in the one case that I heard about, because they were looking for the last person that this girl called, who was someone over on the reservation. And it turned out it was someone else who was more fair-haired. They were looking in the wrong direction and solved the case. So totally redirected them on what was going on. So that's a really cool technology out there.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you, we're big fans of communities of people doing scientific endeavors, and you belong to two organizations I'd never heard of until we reached out to you to do this interview: the International Association for Identification and the Certified Forensic Analyst Certification Group. So can you tell us a little bit about those and how they support you, or what it was like to become a certified forensic analyst?
That's a really neat conference that happens once a year, where people from all different professions come together, from law enforcement to scientists to forensic artists to detectives of all different ilks, to all learn what's new, what's going on.
How many people would you guess are there?
Probably 500-600.
Okay.
Yeah. And they meet in various parts of the country every year. And to be a certified forensic artist, you have to pass some tests. They will give you some kind of blind projects and see how you do. How's your technique? Do you know what you're talking about? Type of thing. So it's really a great way to network and meet a lot of other people that are doing what you're doing and saying, hey, how did you do this? I have a skull that doesn't have this. How do I reconstruct this? Of course, I can always call my teacher up and ask her advice. So yeah, it's an interesting group. I haven't gone back there yet recently. Most people that go and do those are actually paid law enforcement. So I went to a couple of them. But since everything is just on my own and my schedule, I haven't gone back in a while. But I always read the reports on what's going on.
It's an interesting community doing some really important things for people. Yeah.
Yeah.
So can you tell us what else you do in the artistic space? Because you can't just spend all your time.
You don't just draw dead people. We know that.
No. I'm working on a painting of my granddaughter. I do other portraits for flowers. I garden. I have 8 grandchildren, so that's pretty busy. And I help run our golf school. And so that takes up a lot of time. So I got a lot of cases last year, but usually it's very sporadic. And I am trying to network with more medical examiners so that they can know, hey, I'm out here. I am happy to help you if you want it done. But a lot of them think that it always has to be funded. So they just think, well, we can't do that right now. So the more I can get out there and let people know I'm happy to help you and not charge anything, then we'll get more done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had probably almost a third of my cases last year overall.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was a great year. And the more you do it, the better you get. So
Yeah.
it's really good.
So you mentioned the golf school.
Mhm.
I know that Joy wants to talk to you about golf and about a very particular book by a very particular husband of yours.
Yes. Yeah. It is a great book. Yeah. Yeah. We're actually in process of he did a DVD as well, but unfortunately that was like 20 years ago. So we need to update it, and we're going to reshoot everything. And so
Cool.
That's our project this year along with his two sons. Our two sons, who also.
So just to back up for listeners, so we can let them inside our little game here. So your husband's Kip Puterbaugh, right? Runs a very famous golf school out in your part of the country, right?
Yeah.
Which town is it in?
Carlsbad, California.
Carlsbad, that's right.
Yeah.
And he wrote a book. And Joy, what's the name of the book?
You're putting me on the spot because I
thought
had
you'd
it
have it
written
right
down.
there.
I did, but it's you. What you know can hurt you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yep. And then we actually kind of republished it under Timeless Golf Principles because we learned after you put your.
It didn't say golf.
It didn't say golf. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we just and it has a forward on it, but it's people just love it when they read it and it's their thing. They really like it. So.
Yeah, so I grew up in a golf family where I was the non-golfer because I was the oldest daughter and I had other things to do like ballet and other things. But my dad was a very avid golfer, and I say avid, not great, but he was like dedicated to the art of golf more than the social aspects of it. And he was a Marine, so we've got deep roots in San Diego, and golfing is a big part of especially military officer lifestyle. And so he did it because he needed to learn how to do it, and then he learned to love it, and then he never let go.
It's pretty addictive if you really like it.
And so I got to spend some time with him in the last couple of years of his life as his companion for activities while he had Parkinson's. He's super active, but he just needed somebody to go with him to the driving range or to go ride bikes or to do things like that. And so I had that special time where he was teaching me everything I was doing wrong, trying to hit a golf ball. And he was totally right. Neither of us were very good, but we had a lot of fun. And every time we hit it where we wanted to, it's the most satisfying thing.
Yeah, it's a great thing for families to do. It's a great thing for kids to get into when they're young because learning to walk up and play with someone you don't even know and conduct yourself properly on a golf course, that just carries you through in a lot of other areas of your life. It's just wonderful. I mean, I have one of our other boys plays really well. He's actually could have been a long drive champion kind of guy. He's a big kid, and but it's helped him in business. He went to work. He got a law degree from Pepperdine, and he went to work for a judge. And one of the first questions the judge asked when he saw on his resume says, "So how far can you hit it?" So you just never know how it's going to. And it's great to be outside. To be outside.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't played golf in a while, but I have to say, learning to hit a golf ball has made my pickleball serve excellent.
Oh,
Because
wow.
it's the same. It's just from the
We hear
hips.
it's lethal. We hear it's lethal.
You know where to, yeah. It's not in the arm, it's in the hips and the
Right?
shoulders. Yeah.
Right? Yeah, the arms get in the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So let's move on to, I think we've got a golf related discovery of the week coming our way. So why don't we take a minute and we'll move on to discoveries of the week. Does that sound okay, PJ?
Great.
All right. So let's go into discoveries of the week. And PJ, do you want to kick us off?
Well, we had a woman come to our school, and the teacher was asking, we don't know where these people come from and what they do. And he was asking her, and she said, well, I teach a type of physical therapy that helps people that have had concussions. And he said, oh, you need to talk to Kip. So he's had an issue that even if you look back in photos of him when he was like 16, he's a little bit this way. He's always in his photos with his head tilted. And what his eyes were doing is they were compensating for 3 concussions that he had had until that date, off a bicycle twice and off a cliff in La Jolla where they were cliff diving. And he didn't realize it was an issue until the 4th concussion when a golf ball hit him. And all of a sudden his brain just couldn't take it anymore, and it made him have double vision.
Okay.
So your eyes are part of your brain, and they're compensating and trying to handle everything. So this woman came down and had him stand there on the putting green and had him do a couple of different positions. And then she said, okay, look at the ball. What's it look like? It's blurry. And then she got a popsicle stick and she stuck it back in his molars to see, because she asked him, do your molars touch in the back? And he said, well, I can feel this one. I can't feel this one. So she put the popsicle stick in between the 2 molars, and they could contact, and he looked down at the ball and he could see it. So
wow.
I'm not going to say the terminology correctly, but there's this thing called proprioception. There's these conditions that your body has to connect in certain ways to read things. So if you're like an airplane and you're not balancing correctly because you're not connecting. We visited Texas twice now to visit this woman. It's fascinating. It's not pills. It's not anything. He does have a retainer he wears on the bottom so his teeth connect. You can see the difference when we were down there of he got the retainer and you walk down the hall and all of a sudden he was straight.
Wow.
He wasn't leaning.
Right.
It was obvious to everyone.
Yeah.
It's just some stretching and breathing, making sure you're trying to get your body to be symmetrical in what it's doing. It's way deeper.
And closing an electrical connection with your molars.
Exactly. It's how your teeth contact in your mouth, because they're a moving thing. Everybody knows where your retainers when you have braces, right? Because your teeth are going to move. So it's a mobile, moving thing that's adapting to a lot of things. It's just fascinating. Postural restoration is what it's called.
Postural
Say that
restoration.
Again. Postural restoration.
Right.
That's amazing. Well, I'm glad that worked. That's great.
Yeah. A gentleman started it that was in a hospital, and he noticed how many different problems people have that all connected back into this. And he started a whole foundation business where he now trains people in postural restoration.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Well, that's a great discovery. And I think, Joy, you better go next.
I better
see
go
what
next.
Yours is.
Yeah. I had no idea that's what you were going to talk about. But mine is related in a way. And so my discovery of the week is I listened to Allie Ward has a podcast called Ologies, where she talks to specialists in different areas and goes really deep, and it's really interesting and fun. But the one that she put out that I listened to this morning was with a young scientist, Dr. Yara Haraday, and she's currently at the University of Chicago in the Field Museum. And the topic is that scientists are still learning why we have teeth inside our mouths. So Dr. Haraday is a paleohistologist, meaning she studies the history of tissues, and her focus is on teeth. And apparently, the first teeth were on the outside of fish as sensory.
Oh,
Oh,
interesting.
really?
Wow.
Yes, they were on the outside. And so sharks, if you pet a shark and it's prickly, it's because they still have those outside teeth.
Oh,
Huh.
And so there's
yeah, that's
there's
crazy.
there's teeth were originally part of the exoskeleton sensory system. And
Hmm.
then over the, millennia and evolution, they through different evolution, they went into different places. And so that's why our teeth can feel cold or sweet or things like that, is because they were originally designed
Sensory
to
organs.
Hmm.
sensory organs.
Yeah. Wow.
But it's really fascinating, and one of the things I loved about it is that there's only she said there's only a handful of other scientists on the planet who study ancient teeth the way
Mm.
that she does.
Yeah. Yeah.
and and she had a big paper in Nature last year, and so got a lot of attention around that, but and picked up in the news and things like that. But it was also interesting based on the work that Kent and I do, is that she got bombarded with a lot of news coverage and things like that, and the answer is that science takes a long time and it's indirect, and we just happen to figure out this one thing
Hmm.
on the way to figuring out other things. And
Hmm.
so
Hmm.
a couple of other fun facts. Mammals are the only ones who have two sets of teeth, our baby teeth and our grown-up teeth.
Hmm. Hmm.
And other creatures who have teeth keep regenerating them all the time.
Hmm.
Hmm.
And birds used to have teeth, and now they don't. So either you can have a beak or you can have teeth, but you can't have both.
Hmm.
Oh,
So beaks
wow.
are like the hooves to fingernails to our teeth, if I were taking the SAT, right?
Something like that.
Something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if
Yeah.
you want to learn about teeth, I highly recommend listening to Ali Ward's Ologies podcast, and we'll put a link in the show notes. And
Yep,
it's
absolutely.
also wonderful to hear from another young scientist
Hmm.
who's got a lot going on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep,
That's cool.
absolutely. Well, mine's going to be rather boring compared to that, but my discovery was that movie stars still star in things
There's
because
nothing boring about that.
compared to all your sciencey stuff, yeah. I mean, you got like postural. No, this just. I'm just gonna go for it. Okay.
Tell us about
So
the good
there.
movies, Kent.
Thank you. So, thanks for saving me from myself. So it's winter here, so there's a lot of indoor activity, including movie watching. And so I came across a few movies: The Rip, starring Matt Damon and Ben Affleck;
Hmm.
F1, starring Brad Pitt and Javier Bardem; and then the season 2 of The Night Manager with Tom Hiddleston and Hugh Laurie. And yeah, it's good, isn't it?
Very good.
I
Yeah, it's
just
very
finished
good.
it.
Mhm.
It made me sad when it was over.
Well, season two's not done.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's still going?
Oh,
There's one
yes.
more episode.
Oh, good.
But anyhow, especially I think with the Night Manager, but with the others too, it's like the Rip is you could plot out the plot from the beginning to the end in a way, and not every twist you would predict, but the dramatic. You've seen the dramatic arc before, but you see those two guys, Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, together and really working a scene together, and it's just so palpable coming off the screen. It's like those are two big time movie stars. And then Brad Pitt and Javier Bardem, when they're together in a scene, it's like, wow, the screen is just popping with energy with those two. I don't know. I've always been mystified at how people who filmed something 18 months ago and is being projected on a two-dimensional surface can connect with you across space and time in that way and make you feel things. It's just so crazy to me. And then, Night Manager, spoiler alert, Hugh Laurie's in it again. But
Okay.
when you find that out, then you realize part of this is going to be, how do he and Tom Hiddleston connect, right? When are they going to intersect? And what is that scene going to be like? And are they going to make it as juicy and as, fulfilling and as rich as they could? And they do. But those two actors, I know they must have been like, yeah, I want to have some scenes with that guy again because we can really chew the scenery up. It's going to be delicious.
You never know. Maybe they were like, that guy's a jerk. Let's just get this over with.
I think Tom Hiddleston likes the fact that he's the only actor who's been able to make Hugh Laurie look like a villain.
Yeah.
So you're a fan of The Night Manager, both of you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And,
Oh, big time.
yeah. And Hijack.
Oh, is season 2 good?
Yes.
Oh, Idris Elba's another one.
Yep. Sleeper Train. Try another one called Sleeper Train.
The first Hijack was amazing.
Yes. It's like that.
Okay. Thank you, PJ. All right. Looks like I've got more to discover on the star power front. All right. So we're going to leave it there. Thank you, PJ, for joining us today. We really appreciate it. And
thank you. That was such a fascinating discussion, and thanks for sharing what you do with us and with our audience.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying your podcast. I listen to podcasts as I paint, and so it's always great to listen to all sorts of interesting things that are going on. Yeah, it's great.
All right. Best to everybody there.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Right.
Bye. So we learned a lot. We covered a lot of ground there.
You got a new crime show too.
Yeah, we got a couple of new crime shows. And we learned about some real world things, like how playing golf can help you learn about your body sometimes.
Yeah, proprioception. It's a big key to golfing. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
And pickleball, Joy. Now we have to always throw in pickleball.
I'm telling you that's the other day. They're like, how can you serve like that? I was like, golf.
Translatable skills, people.
Well, you know what? It's a lot easier to hit a wiffle ball with a ping pong
big old paddle, yeah,
than a golf ball with a 9-iron. So
yeah, on it, right. With a little paddle on a long stick. That makes sense. That makes sense. You're all dialed in, ready to go, ready to pickle.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in this week. Thanks to our friends at Provoke the Truth for the music. As always, if you have topics you want us to cover, please email us at disruptedscience@gmail.com or get in touch with us however you would like to. We'd love to hear from you. And you can also keep up with developments at the Geyser, where you can please subscribe to support our efforts and share with your friends. Thanks so much for listening.
Thanks.
Bye.